Note: there is no Chapter 4 in the General Oral Study Guides. Chapter 5: Aircraft Drawings. How many views are required to represent the important details of most aircraft parts? 1, 2, or 3 views are usually enough. What kinds of parts can be represented by one-view drawings? Parts with uniform thickness, such as shims, plates, and gaskets. What is the name for a part of a drawing used to bring out important details, and how is it drawn? A detailed view, which is usually drawn to a larger scale than the main drawing. What is the purpose of a schematic diagram? They are primarily used for troubleshooting systems. Describe an orthographic projection. It is a way of drawing an object using different views at right angles to each other, such as a top, front, and side view. Why do manufacturers use symbols on aircraft drawings? Symbols are a form of shorthand and are used to convey the characteristics of a component with a minimum of drawing. Describe the appearance of lines to show hidden views, alternate positions, and the middle of symmetrical objects. Give their proper names. Hidden views are shown with hidden lines, which are short, evenly spaced dashes. Alternate positions are shown with phantom lines, made up of light, alternating long dashes and two short dashes. Center lines, consisting of alternating long and short dashes, show the middle of symmetrical objects. How can you determine if a drawing has been changed? A record of the changes is listed either in a revision block or in ruled columns, which may be in a corner of the drawing or next to the title block. Revisions to drawings are usually indicated by revision letters, such as A, B, C, etc. How are dimensions shown on aircraft drawings, and what is their purpose? Dimension lines are usually solid and generally broken at the midpoint for insertion of the measurement. They provide a means to accurately represent the size of an object. What is the difference between an allowance and a tolerance? An allowance is the difference between the nominal dimension and the maximum and minimum permissible sizes. The tolerance is the difference between the extreme permissible dimensions, which may be found by adding the plus and minus allowances. What is meant by clearance when used on aircraft drawings? An allowable dimension between two parts. What kinds of information about an aircraft drawing can be found in the title block? The part or assembly name, drawing size, scale, date, company name, the name of the draftsman and checker, the engineer or engineers, and the name or initials of the people responsible for creating or approving the drawing. What information is contained in the bill of materials? A list of all the materials and parts needed to fabricate or assemble the component or system shown in the drawing. How are dimensions shown on an aircraft drawing, and why are they used? Dimensions are shown by numbers in the break of a dimension line and are used to indicate the size of an object. How can you know that the aircraft drawing you are using is the most current version of that drawing? By the number in the revision block and by the log of the most recent drawings. How many views can there be in an orthographic projection? 6. How many views are used to show most objects in an aircraft drawing? 3. What is the purpose of a center line on an aircraft drawing? It is the line that shows the center of an object in a drawing. It divides a part into symmetrical halves. What is a fuselage station number? The distance in inches from the datum, measured along the longitudinal axis of the fuselage. Where is the title block normally located on an aircraft drawing? In the lower right-hand corner of the drawing. What is the purpose of a cutting plane on an aircraft drawing? It shows where an object has been cut to allow an auxiliary drawing to be made. The arrows on a cutting plane show the direction the auxiliary drawing is viewed. When is a full section view used on an aircraft drawing? When interior construction or hidden features of an object cannot be shown clearly by exterior views. What is a sketch for a repair? It is a basic drawing that shows specific information and provides the minimum detail needed to manufacture a part. How many views are required to determine the shape of an object? 3 views: front, right, and top. What is an assembly drawing? A drawing that shows all the components of a part in an exploded form. A parts list is included with an assembly drawing. What is an installation drawing? A drawing that shows the location of the parts and assemblies on the complete aircraft. What is a block diagram? A drawing that shows the various functions of a system by a series of blocks. These blocks do not include any detail, but instead indicate what happens in each block. Where would an aviation mechanic find aircraft electrical schematics? in the Aircraft Maintenance Manual or the Aircraft Wiring Diagram Manual. What is a butt line? A vertical reference line to the right or left of the center line of the aircraft. Now we're moving to the risk management portion. Why is it important to understand and follow tolerances on aircraft drawings? Tolerances on a drawing control how parts or components fit together. Incorrectly sized parts could cause damage to the aircraft structure or system. What is the risk of not following the exact specifications for the design of alterations or repairs? Not following the specifications will cause the alteration or repair to be outside of the approved parameters, potentially leading to an unairworthy and unsafe condition. Explain how an aviation mechanic can mitigate applicability risk when using a drawing or schematic. Always confirm that the drawing or schematic applies to the make, model, serial number, and configuration of the aircraft that it is being used for. What risks are associated with not using the most current version of a drawing or not verifying that the drawing applies to the aircraft? Not using the most current revision of a drawing could result in missing important updates.